Prey. The sleeper hit from 2017. An extremely original concept for a sci-fi game, alright? You're gonna wake up in an abandoned space station, only to find out it's overrun with aliens. And now you gotta find out how to escape. Like, how many other games have done that? Like, probably zero. I don't know. I don't fucking play video games. But what if I can ruin the experience of the game and film it at the same time? Can I beat Prey without killing anyone? First, a quick overview of the game, because let's be honest, none of you played this, okay? Don't fucking lie. We know, because the game sold horribly. You play as Morgan Yu, Vice President of Talos 1 and sibling of Alex Yu, the President of Talos 1. After being subject to your own experiments for months, you wake up with no memory of where or when you are, only to discover that you're aboard the Talos 1 space station, and it's currently overrun with a typhon. The typhon come in many forms, from those that can shapeshift into nearby objects to flying rectangles that can control all nearby technology. To aid you in your escape, you can upgrade your character by installing Neuromods. This grants you access to human and alien abilities to aid you in your combat, survival, and exploration. In a normal playthrough of the game, you're constantly fighting enemies to clear areas or complete objectives, and because the stealth isn't good enough in this game, you can't always rely on it. Now, after my last video, which you should watch if you haven't already, and based on the view count, you probably didn't watch it, I came to the conclusion that I'm being a big old pussy. If I keep playing all these games on the easy difficulties, the challenge becomes just boring. It's super easy, just continually run past enemies without dying if I have an insane amount of health and they can't aim for shit. So I decided I'm not going to do that anymore. In this playthrough, I'm going to be playing on the hard difficulty, and I'll be using 3 survival modifiers. Each survival modifier makes the game harder by adding a unique gameplay mechanic. Weapon degradation. Weapons wear down upon use, and at 0% integrity, the weapons will jam after each shot. Traumas. Damage can now apply a trauma to your character. There are 4 types of traumas, and each has a unique debuff and a unique item required to heal that trauma. Oxygen. If my suit is damaged while in a 0 oxygen area of the game, I will start to lose my oxygen supply. Once I run out, I'll die. I hate my job! Roar XD! The run starts, and I get to choose my sex. I went with female thinking maybe the aliens would be misogynist and take it easy on me. Maybe they would think like, hey, if I play my cards right with this sexy lady, I'll have a chance with her. But that's not gonna happen. I already got a wife. Oh, shit. My bad. Wrong photo. Yeah, that's better. This game starts and I wake up in my apartment. After looting as much as I can, I try to open my balcony window. Weird that it won't work, huh, haha. I throw my suit on and head to work.
Stop it!
I thought that was very rude of her. After stealing the janitor's light, I head to the roof and take the helicopter to work. I always love this part. As the cutscene plays in the helicopter, you can look around the skyline and find the opening credits. It's a very natural way of showing them to the player. Plus, the music that plays here is very head-boppy. Head-boppy? Is that a word? I wrote that in my script. I don't know if that's a word. I get off the helicopter and start making my way to my very important job. I head inside and meet my brother. After a short conversation, I head to the testing room for a quick evaluation of my skills. This is a very important part of the game. I need to be sure that I perform all these tests to the best of my abilities, or else I might kill the run. After answering the questionnaire, Mr. Psy Guy goes back to take a drink of coffee, but instead, he gets deep-throated by a BBT, a big black typhon. I get knocked out and wake up back in my apartment. You know, it's a bit weird, I just wake up back in my apartment. Definitely nothing sketchy going on here. I put my suit back on and head out to work again. This time the janitor is a lot more quiet. I think she learned her lesson. After picking up my wrench, yes, my wrench, she's not using it. Look at her sleeping on the job. She's gonna be fired for this. Like, you can't just fucking lie down like that. She's on the fucking clock. After picking up my wrench, I'm introduced to January. January is a robot I had programmed to aid me in case of disaster. Throughout the game, she will call me and give me all the necessary exposition I need, plus tell me what my objectives are. She tells me I need to escape my apartment, so I smash my window. Let me try that again. So I smash my window, and the real world is revealed to me finally. My whole apartment and experience the day before was all part of an elaborate test. But unfortunately for Mr. Psy Guy, the alien outbreak was real. Before making my way out of the first area, I head to this room to get some hidden loot and open a safe. This is where I get my first 2 chipsets and my first gun. Chipsets are upgrades you can add to your suit and your scope. Because I don't have a scope yet, I can only equip the one to my suit right now. The gun I got was the Disruptor gun, this game's version of a stun gun. I can stun any organic enemies without damaging them, but if I use it on a robotic enemy, it will stun them and damage them, meaning that I can use this freely on most enemies, but I'm going to have to use it sparingly near robots. For this run, it will be one of my main weapons. Looking at the complex building made just to convince me I was in a simulation is always interesting, and all the little details the developers put in here is very impressive. This is definitely one of my favorite areas in the game. Walking through the testing area, I'm introduced to the Mimic. Mimics are ambush enemies. They will hide themselves in plain sight and attack when I get close to it. To make it worse, they usually attack in groups of 3 or more. I get to the decontamination chamber, I watch this guy get deep-throated by a Mimic, should have closed his mouth. The door opens and I show you guys what my main strat is for the game. Running and climbing. Parkour. Oh yeah. Look at these dumbasses, they have no idea how to get me. After getting out of the offices, I taunt this loser because he can't hit me through the wall, turn to the corner, and get the glue gun. The glue gun is the second weapon I will be using a lot in this playthrough. With the glue gun, you can encase enemies in glue to slow them or to stun them for a few seconds. But it can also be used to parkour, and that's the really cool part of it. Shooting the glue at any surface will make a blob stick there, and you actually have collision with it, meaning that if I want to climb over a piece of my glue, I can't. And for this run, because I'm trying to avoid enemies as much as possible, I'm going to always be creating quick stairs or little pathways up in the ceiling so I can just pass enemies. Before leaving the level, I break open this display case to grab my first Neuromod. Like most survival games, Prey has a large set of skills you can acquire. Because I'm mainly going to be avoiding enemies, the perks I'm going to get will be perks that increase my stealth, my health, my mobility, my scavenging, and other perks that help me in accessing locked off areas. For my very first perk, I got Condition 1, it improves my health, stamina, and movement speed, making it a lot easier for me to run away like a little pussy bitch. Yeah, very smart of you, Morgan, to just stop in the middle of the room full of deadly aliens to perform brain surgery on yourself. It's so cool. After installing my first mod, I make my way to the lobby.
Ha! Got him!
Entering the lobby, I get my first real look at the world.
Ready for your first real view of the world?
Okay, yeah, I just said that. Stop trying to one-up me, you're a fucking floating toaster, January. January tells me to meet her in my office, but before going up, I grab some hidden loot and neuromods found in the lobby. Oh, how do I know about all the secret loot in this area? Don't even worry about that, I'm so good at the game. I picked up my first recycler charge. This grenade can be thrown or placed to turn nearby objects and enemies into raw materials. Basically, if there's any objects blocking my path, I can use a recycler charge to clear the way. Encountered my first phantom. Phantoms are human-like typhon that can warp towards you, melee you, or shoot you. The good thing about phantoms is they are easier to avoid the mimics because they patrol areas and make a lot of noise. The bad thing about phantoms is they come in multiple forms. There's an electric version, a fire version, and an ether version. Each of these versions will damage you if you get close, meaning that if I'm in stealth near one and it doesn't see me, if it gets close enough to me, regardless if it detects me or not, I will take damage. Tried to climb around this corner to get more loot and killed myself. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of deaths in this run, even though I'm a pro gamer. Looted a security station to grab some more supplies and I grabbed a shotgun. Don't worry, I'm not gonna use it on anybody. I grabbed it just in case I need it later in the run. Headed up to the office where I got jump scared by a mimic and I immediately failed the challenge by using my shotgun. I reloaded a checkpoint. This time, I unequipped the shotgun before passing the mimic. I got to my office where a turret killed the mimics chasing me. When turrets or friendly NPCs kill enemies, I'm not going to count it as a failure. There are a few parts in the game where preset turrets will kill enemies. Unless I intentionally bring the enemies in view of turrets, I'm not going to count that as a fail as it's out of my control. In my office, I watch a video of my past selves explaining what's happening and how to fix it. Before the video finishes, Alex, my brother, cuts off the video. January informs me that I need to head to Hardware Labs to fix the video. I got some more hidden loot and upgraded myself with the Neuromods. Before heading into the next area, I want to show you guys just how easy you die on hard. Made it to the Hardware Labs door and proceeded into the next level.
Don't let your sex drive fail you just because your wife looks like a shriveled prune. Fake it with Cialis.
Entering the lab, I meet my first corrupted operator. They're basically flying evil toasters. Pretty easy to avoid detection from them. Unfortunately, I'm the world's worst gamer. The main problem with operators is their ability to fly. If I enter combat with them, I can't just climb up high like I do with other enemies to avoid them. After reloading the save, I successfully parkoured to the second floor using the glue cannon. Raided the kitchen like the little fat boy I am, did some stealth, failed some stealth, tried to run past these Typhon and grab the loot locked in the safe, but I was rushing. So first I put in the wrong code. I unlocked it on my next try, but then I accidentally relocked the save before I could pick anything back up. Reloaded the save and got it right on my second try. I said, got it right on my second try. There's a reason I keep throwing myself into these dangerous situations for a bit of loot. As the game progresses, you'll revisit the same areas but with more dangerous enemies, and the sections will be a lot harder to navigate. So it is very beneficial to me to grab as much loot as possible on my first visits to these areas when there are easy enemies around and it's not too hard to walk around places without being detected. On top of that, I need certain perks in my loadout for the build I need to complete the game. Stealth 3, which costs a total of 14 Neuromods to get, will allow me to run at full speed without being detected by enemies. Mobility 2, which will cost a total of 9 Neuromods, will allow me to run extremely fast and jump very high. Both these perks combined give me the ability to sprint really fast through sections without getting detected by enemies. The only way I will get detected is if I'm in their line of sight. That of course will save a fuck ton of time, allowing me to get through sections without having to stop and deal with enemies. I also need to grab Hacking 4, which will cost about 19 Neuromods to get. Without Hacking 4, I will be forced to kill a specific enemy later in the game, so I absolutely need this. Fully upgrading my health and armor will cost 27 Neuromods, and I will also be doing that to aid me in not dying. Once I get these skills, the run will be much faster. I won't spend extra time looting in areas, I'll just be completing objectives and exiting areas as fast as possible. To fix the video feed, I need to get into Dr. Calvino's workshop, but in order to do that, I need to get the key card that's on his body, which was launched into space earlier. To get to the Talos 1 exterior, you need to find and unlock airlocks. Once the airlock has been opened from the inside once, you can now travel to or from that location via the exterior, skipping all the enemies indoors. Later in the run, I will be doing this a lot to avoid fighting enemies. Crafted a copyright infringement free Nerf crossbow. It's off-brand Nerf or nothing. The crossbow is really useful. You can use it to distract enemies or to press buttons from a distance. I use it here to unlock the airlock without having to run into the enemies patrolling below. Once the unlocking animation is done, I sprint to the door and make it out. Flew to the doctor's remains and looted his corpse. It's not like he can stop me. Before heading back inside, I fly over to this breach in the hall, repair it quick, and then make my way back indoors. This will allow me to access a room later in the run that is full of loot and is super useful. Back inside, I made a beeline straight to the lab, turned on the power, and restored the video feed. Before heading back to the lobby, I make a stop at the medical bay. In each level there is a medical bay. In it, you can find a green flying toaster. These toasters fully heal you and cure all traumas at no cost. They are extremely useful and I will be using them a lot in the run, especially when I can easily, like in this level. Got some more hidden loot, made this sick shot on my first try, and ran out of the level before getting killed by the Typhon. Returned to the lobby, went up to my office where I was ambushed, ran away, got very close to dying, watched this mimic taunt me, built a staircase on the side of the wall, and entered my office through the window. Resumed the video myself while I learned what the plan is. Basically, I gotta blow up the space station. After the video finishes, you get to meet January face to face, where she tells you the exact same thing you just saw in the video, but in greater detail. So why didn't January just tell me this originally? Why did she make me roam around the alien-infested space station just to watch 15 more seconds of a video that she paraphrased? The game's explanation for this is that you need to hear it out of your own mouth, meaning if I didn't watch the video of myself explaining it, I wouldn't believe January. But why would I even trust the video of myself? I'm currently fighting off aliens that can shapeshift into whatever they want inside a space station full of incredible technology. So why would I assume that a video of myself is even 100% trustworthy? Couldn't they doctor it? This part doesn't make any sense, and honestly they should have written a different reason why you had to go to Hardware Labs. January is carrying a keycard that you need for the next area. Maybe they could have made it that in order to get January unlocked, I had to go to the Hardware Labs and activate a computer or something. I don't know. It's not a big deal, but it's one of the few plot points in the game that's always bothered me. There's a lot of weird things where they're telling you it's very dangerous, they don't want you to go out, but then they make you go do very meaningless errands. It's like, pick a side. Okay, back to the game. January tells me I need to get 2 keys to destroy the station. One my brother has, and the other is in deep storage, which is all the way at the top of the space station. I can't take the main lift there because it's currently under the control of a technopath. They are the Typhon that can manipulate nearby technology. In a normal run, you would kill the technopath once you reach the top, allowing you to use the lift for the rest of the playthrough, saving a lot of time. But I can't do that, which means for the rest of the game, I have to take one of the long ways to get to the top of the station, getting to the airlock and using the exterior, or traveling up the guts. Because the airlock at the top hasn't been unlocked from the inside yet, I have to use the guts to get all the way to the top. And to do that, I need to go through Psychotronics, the section of the station where the Typhon were kept and experimented on, and where they broke out. So it's definitely not going to be infested with aliens or anything. In Psychotronics, Alex calls me to ask me why I didn't just wait in my office. I don't know what he expected. I was gonna wait there, that's boring. What type of game would it be if you just sat in one room the whole time? Come on, that's crazy. Went to the washroom to relieve myself and caught a peeping Tom. I was gonna sneak past him, but then this mimic attacked me, so I just activated my special ability, running away. Got to the bottom floor, evaded the mimics, and I grabbed the psychoscope. The psychoscope allows me to study aliens and learn their abilities. Studying mimics will allow me to learn the ability to shapeshift. Most alien abilities are revolved around combat, so I won't really be getting any, but I'll still be studying the aliens given the chance, just in case I need them later on in the run. I made it up to the labs at Psychotronics. At this point, the game tries to get you to install your first alien mod. It makes you study a bunch of captured phantoms, and then it gives you a bunch of neuromods along with the ability to craft neuromods. But before installing any new abilities, I get one-shotted by an electric junction. Respawned, went downstairs, skipped this jump scare, got the best chipset in the game. That's a joke. This is the worst chipset in the game. Why would I ever want to fall on top of an alien? Why would that be like a good plan of attack? Whoever went, hey, you know what's a really good way to fight these incredibly dangerous monsters? Just falling on top of them. Like, what the fuck? Went back upstairs and then got one-shotted again. I don't know why I didn't just heal up a little here or just repair the junction, whatever. Before continuing through the level, I went upstairs to get more loot and more importantly, unlock the airlock in this area. Healed up in the medical bay and made it back downstairs. Got introduced to the Weaver. As you can tell by the floating satellite, this domed area has no gravity. That's important to know for later. Went around to this back room where I got imploded by a phantom, reloaded the save and took a different route to the back room. Installed my first Neuromod, Mimic Matter. This allows me to shapeshift into small objects, which then allows me to pass through small spaces. Got knocked out by the installation because I'm a lightweight, have visions of some flying toasters or something, I don't know, woke back up. Transformed into this thingy, I don't know what this is, so I'm just gonna call it a thingy. Failed miserably to fit underneath this slit. I literally went the exact opposite way, but that's expected. I seem to always fail when it comes to entering slits. Just ask your mother. Got her on my second try, just like I did with your mother. I'm joking, she didn't let me try again. She kicked me out after the first try. Got back to the room with the phantom that killed me earlier. This room is filled with very valuable crafting materials to make more neuromods. I unlocked it earlier by sealing the breach when I was outside. Unfortunately, this phantom is blocking the path. I encased it in glue and rushed in to steal the loot. Every few seconds I'd look back and take another shot at the phantom to make sure it remained encased in the glue, but waited a bit too long to reshoot and barely escaped with my life. At this point, I've looted all I can in this area and decided I was going to continue through the game. In order to get to the next area, I have to pass through the live exam room and unlock a door at the back of it. In order to do that, I have to finish a test that was in progress before the lockdown occurred. Starting the test opens the window, allowing the Weaver to turn a nearby corpse into an electric phantom. And until this phantom is defeated, the door will not open. First, I tried throwing an Norway transmitter at the phantom. These are grenades that disable alien abilities for a short period of time. I thought maybe it would remove the phantom's electric effect and thus unlock the door, but it did not. Next, I tried leading the phantom away, thinking that if I got him far enough from the door, his electric field wouldn't affect it anymore and the door would unlock. That didn't work either. So I reloaded a save right before I unlocked the door and went to go do some research. Research just means I watched some videos on YouTube. I'm using the word research as an anti-vaxxer would use the word research. The videos I watch on YouTube were speedrunners playing the game. I want to see if they knew any skips for this section or this locked door, and that's where I found this skip. If you shoot a glue cannon at the door and then throw a recycler charge at it, it seems to lose collision, allowing you to pass through it. So I tried it. I tried it a bunch of times and it never worked. I even died trying it. For those of you that don't know, speedrunners always play the game on a specific patch, usually one of the early patches. After looking it up, it looks like the Price speedrun uses the patch 1.0, and unfortunately, I'm on patch 1.10. Most likely the reason I couldn't do this glitch is because it was patched out. It's also possible that the glitch has something to do with locking your FPS at a certain rate, but I can't do that on PS4 or I just don't know how. So whatever reason it is, I'm not going to be trying this anymore. I tried it a bunch, it doesn't seem to work. Now Prey is a good game in my opinion. It runs pretty well, not too many glitches, but man does this game have a lot of out of bounds. One of the reasons this game has so many out of bounds is because of the physics within the game itself. Usually when games have some sort of game mechanic that allows you to create or move objects that have collision, that also means you can clip through objects by interacting with an item with collision where it shouldn't be. Basically meaning if I put like a glue charge somewhere where it shouldn't go and then climb on it weird, I might be able to pass through a door because of it. Another game that has a lot of out of bounds but otherwise runs really good is control, and it's the same thing. Because you can use your abilities in control to interact with objects that have collision in a weird way, you can basically just skip the whole game. I remember from previous playthroughs, I had found it out of bounds near the labs and I went to go test it. It seemed to work. I tried exploring it a little bit and I died very quick, but that's okay. I now have a way out. So I ran back to the out of bounds entrance, made a quick save so each time I died I would respawn right next to it because I'm gonna die a lot here. In my second attempt, I managed it close enough to the dome that I started to get the effects of zero gravity without actually being in the dome itself. I then clipped into the dome, tried to exit out the back door, but this door stays locked until the end of the game. Tried clipping through that door using the same glue cannon recycler charge from earlier, but that didn't work and I ended up killing myself. I spent the next 40 minutes trying to figure out a way past the locked doors. This is what I learned during my many failed attempts. 1. If I get close enough to the dome, I can get the effects of zero gravity while still being out of bounds, meaning I can skip a lot of the out of bounds section by basically flying over it. 2. I can't see a lot of what I can interact with, but if I shoot my glue cannon at it and the glue sticks, that means that area has collision and I can stand or climb there. 22 failed attempts later, I died 22 times, I figured out a route that was pretty consistent. I would stick to the right side of the dome, fall down to an area that is out of bounds next to the morgue in the basement, create a glue staircase to get myself back up to the main level, and now I just have to clip myself back into the level without falling to my death. Sticking to the wall that separates the two rooms, I was able to walk close enough in the hallway that I could begin clipping in. Shot some glue on the ground to help me, shimmied around a little bit, and I was back on the other side. Now here's the shitty part. For the rest of the game, these two doors will stay locked. This is because the game still registers that Phantom as alive, and therefore doesn't think these doors should be open. So effectively, I cannot go all the way through Psychotronics anymore. I can go from one side, but I can't go all the way to the other side without somehow going out of bounds or passing these doors that will stay locked unless I kill someone, which I don't want to do. Some Typhon get killed by some turns. This is scripted, so I'm not going to count this as a fail, and I proceed into guts. Proceed into guts is what I did to your mother.
Feel it in your guts.
The guts is basically a long zero-gravity tunnel that runs vertically throughout the space station. Very useful, especially because I can't use the elevator in this run. In the guts, I encountered my first cystoid and cystoid nets. These enemies are like little suicide bombers. I can't do shit to stop them from killing themselves, so I'm not going to attack them, but if they die attacking me, I'm not going to count it as a fail. Otherwise, I would have to count each nest as like 10 fails. To make the challenge harder for me though, I will be trying to avoid them as much as possible, even though I could just run past them. Once I get down to the main section of the guts, I decide to go down to the lower sections of the map instead of following the main quest and heading upwards. Why? Because I'm fucking stupid. Let me explain. So earlier when I told you I watched the speedrunning videos and learned how they clip through the doors, even though now the Chris who is writing the script understands that that door clip won't work here because of the patch I'm playing on. The Chris from the past, the one who's playing the game right now, he is functionally brain dead and still doesn't realize that if it didn't work on the last door, it's not gonna work on the next one. The reason I'm going to the basement is to attempt a skip so I don't have to kill a specific enemy later in the game. If I can make my way to cargo bay, go through life support, and then into a reactor at the end of the power plant by clipping through a locked door, I can skip about 2 to 3 hours of gameplay and skip killing a technopath that spawns later in the game. The technopath needs to be killed because his presence locks the door exiting life support. Unfortunately, because the door it blocks is a door that loads a new level, I can't skip it by going out of bounds and then getting around it. Getting to the cargo bay is the easy part. Once in, it's a short walk to life support. Did a little looting in life support and completed a side quest called Psychic Water. It lets me recover side points by drinking from sinks. Very useful on the hard difficulties because it saves resources for myself. The problem, I died right as I finished the side quest and had to restart the whole thing, so that process added another 10 minutes to this pointless detour. Finally got to the power plant, skipped most of the enemies here, met my dying ex-girlfriend, that's what she gets for leaving me, unlocked the power plant airlock, and got to the reactor door. Tried clipping through it. Obviously it didn't work. I kept trying for a good 15 minutes before I realized it wasn't going to work. Tried running another out of bounds in the area, but I had no success. I spent another 10 minutes jumping around like an idiot just for nothing. Finally called it quits and headed back to the main quest. Wasted 43 minutes and 15 seconds doing this. Most pointless fucking detour in my life. Flew to the top of the station and headed into the Arboretum. Okay, first thing I did to the Arboretum is recycle a bunch of junk and craft some more items. At this point, I've made the max amount of neuromods I can make without having to complete a side quest, and it's not worth a detour. So for the rest of the run, I'll be using the fabricator mainly for meds and glue cannon ammo. So on my first nightmare, these are the toughest enemies of the game, but I can run past or hide from each one of them, so it's not too big of a worry, especially because when the nightmares spawn, they have a timer until they despawn in that area, and it's usually about 4 minutes. So as long as I can avoid them for 4 minutes, I'll be good. The Arboretum is at the top of the station. I'll be here multiple times throughout the run. It's the only way to access deep storage, crew quarters, and the station's bridge. It also has Alex's office where a lot of main quests happen. I grabbed the golden gun side quest. If I'm gonna be forced to use a gun, it's gonna be a cool bougie looking gun, alright? Went up to Alex's office to grab some loot. What's his is mine. That's what being a sibling is about. That's why me and my sister share vibrators. You know what? I'm gonna take that out of the script. That is inappropriate. That should not be. That's not funny. I also placed an EMP on this wall. This is for later in the game in case a specific late game enemy spawns here. It won't kill anything, but it will stun stuff, allowing me to escape. It doesn't even get used because I'm an idiot and forgot the enemy won't spawn there this run. At the top of Alex's office, there's a secret escape pod. You can parkour your way up there and escape once you get the keycard. And I could have done this, but escaping this way doesn't actually count as finishing the game. The credits won't roll and it will reload the most recent save. So I didn't do it. But I got up here just to prove that if I could, I would, and at this point I would have finished the game with no kills. Got to the Arboretum airlock, which is right beside deep storage entrance, and of course it's locked. Danielle's show, the person in charge of deep storage, decided to lock it down, and the only way to unlock it is by using a voice recording of Danielle herself. I don't know where Danielle is, and the next best thing to her voice is to find voice recordings of her and edit them together. So I'm off to crew quarters to find what I need. Crew quarters might be the hardest section in the run. Turns out a lot of crew in the station here. When the outbreak happened, who would have thought? And they all got possessed by a telepath. Telepaths turn humans into walking bombs. If one detects me while possessed, their head explodes and they die. So obviously I have to avoid them at all costs. Unlike cystoids, there's a way to nullify the human bombs without killing them, meaning I must do that in this challenge, or else if one dies, it will count as a fail. Shooting a possessed human with a stun gun knocks them out, so as long as I can sneak up to them, I'll be good. The first voice recording is in the bar. It's a recording of a song that plays over loud ass speakers, which is great because it lures all the nearby enemies towards me. On my first try, I tried running back and forth to avoid the enemies, but with less than 20 seconds left, I died. On my second attempt, I tried hiding underneath this table, but that didn't last too long. I thought I was gonna die here, but I barely made it. Booked it downstairs to the med bay, and I healed up. First one done, I now need to get 4 more. 2 of the 4 are easy to get. One is at the theater, I just have to get past cystoids and pick it up. Another in the rec room. Climbing up to the second floor lets me skip the poltergeist on the bottom floor, and after knocking out the mind-controlled human, I could just grab it from the table. At the cabins, I got the golden gun. Now I got swag. Yeah, you know what? I apologize for that joke. That was worse than the vibrator joke. That is even more inappropriate. That is so bad. Why did I write that? I don't know. I haven't made a joke in like the last 5 minutes and I have to say something or else you stop watching, because let's be honest, you have the attention span of a fucking hamster. Got 2 more voice recordings in the cabins and went to the gym to get the last recording. In the gym, there's a bunch of mind-controlled humans and a huge telepath. The last recording is on one of the humans, meaning I gotta knock out the right crew member without being seen by the other crewmates or the telepath. In the locker, there's lots of corners to hide around, so I was easily able to knock out the crewmates here. But the one crewmate I need is in the pool area along with the massive floating purple oval of death. So I did some pro gamer strats. I hid like a rat, like a little dirty rat, right in the corner. Slowly, crewmates would walk over to the door and I would stun them. Each time one was knocked out, another would come by to investigate the noise, and then I knocked that one out. Luckily, I was able to do this on my first try. Distracted the telepath with my Nerf gun, looted the body, and cut from the area. With the voice recordings done, I was able to get into deep storage. On my way to deep storage, I got ambushed by a nightmare. Nearly shat my pants. Thankfully, I got an ability recently that lets me teleport a few meters away while leaving a decoy that will distract enemies for 5 seconds. If it wasn't for this ability, 100% I would have died. The decoy allowed me to run past the nightmare and a few phantoms without being attacked. I made it back to the deep storage door and started the unlocking process. I glued off the exit to the elevator and held my breath, hoping to God the nightmare didn't come down here before the door finished unlocking. I was really scared here, but there was no reason to be scared. I am just stupid. Nightmares can't go up and down elevators. They're too fucking big. There's no animation for it. So the second I got down here, I was safe. I was just too stupid to remember that. Once inside, Alex calls me to tell me he has locked down the station, so the exit and entrance to deep storage is now locked, and all the airlocks are sealed. Deep storage is a little bit of a weird level. I have to get to the zero gravity storage section, fly down while avoiding the sys, and grab a hard drive. After the hard drive is installed, I need to get to a computer room on the upstairs level. This is much easier said than done. In the room with the computer, there's a thermal phantom and a few mimics. In the rooms outside of the computer, there's a telepath floating around with some demon toasters and mimics. To make it worse, the whole level is completely open. I have nowhere to hide. I tried parkouring to the upper rafters, but the phantom was still attacking me. Eventually, it was just me and the phantom in the computer room. I stunned him, ran to the computer, and I was able to complete the objective, but before I could get a checkpoint, I was killed. So I respawned at my save point, went back upstairs, and realized I just wasted a good 10 minutes. Got it on my second try, but it's not over yet. Because Alex locked the station, I now need to find a way out. Danielle calls me and lets me know I can escape deep storage by ejecting a data vault into the exterior. In order to do that, I need to go back to the computer and unlock the vault. So I have to go back and do what I just did again. A bunch of parkouring, stuns, and healing later, I was finally able to do it. Last thing I had to do was get into the vault. Climbing on these vents, I was almost killed by electric junction. I would have been so pissed if I died here and I had to redo the whole fucking section. Thank God I didn't. Got into the vault and ejected it into the exterior. But before I could actually get outside of the vault, I got my forehead caved in by this metal box.
Autobots, roll out!
Now on the outside of the station, I have to find a way back in, and all the airlocks are closed. So I'm kind of screwed. Fortunately for me, there was a massive explosion that killed a bunch of people and ripped open a huge hole in the cargo bay. Let's go. After getting inside, I sneak my way into the back room where I restore the power to the area and meet up with the rest of the survivors. Tried to heal up, but the health toaster refused to heal me. I tried stunning him, but that didn't work. Out of rage, I decided to end it all. Didn't jump from high enough though, so I tried it again. But just before I jumped again, I wanted to try one more time, see if he changed his mind. And he did. So like what, he just wanted to see me hurt myself? This like sadistic fucking toaster? With all the survivors and I locked in one room, and the only way out of the cargo bay is to pass a room filled with Typhon, your objective is to build enough turns to make a strong defense. Then, you'll be given the passcode to the door that you need to open. The problem is doing that will make me lose the challenge. If I create and set up the turns, anything they kill will count as me killing. Thankfully, I have level 4 hacking, and I can just unlock the door, and that's exactly what I did. Yeah, everyone inside here might die. But it's the only way out of here without me killing anyone myself. It's not my fault if the Typhon kill you, alright? You have your own guns, sort out your own shit, have some personal responsibility. After completing the hacking minigame, I thought I was going to keep the door closed until I chose to open it, but nah, it just opened that right away. I tried to close it, but it was too late, so I just ran, left behind a decoy, and made my way to exit. I don't know if they lived or died, not my problem. Now back in life support, I need to make my way to the reactor. I have to get Alex's arming key before I can blow up the station. That's all the way up in his office, and the station's still locked down. In order to get rid of the lockdown, I have to turn the power on and off, just like a PC. This is what I tried to do earlier but failed. The whole point of me attempting this was to skip a technopath that spawns. It takes control of the level exit door, and I cannot get to power plant while that door is under its control. At first I tried seeing if I could clip through the door, but that didn't work. Next, I tried seeing if removing the technopath's powers temporarily would allow me to escape. So I got up high, threw a Norway transmitter and an EMP grenade at the technopath and ran as fast as I could, but it didn't work. Unfortunately, this is the first fail of the run. The technopath must die. I didn't want to just kill him myself, that kind of felt too easy, so I wanted to kill him by luring him into environmental hazards. Mainly this electric junction. Although I was able to damage him a bit in the beginning, the technopath began stopping just out of reach of the junction. When I would do this, I would try to reset the AI by stunning it with the glue cannon. This worked a little bit, but still not enough to kill it. Eventually, one of my stuns ended up killing it. Somehow a fall from like 10 feet did enough damage to kill it. Whatever. Regardless, he's dead, and now I have one fail. Getting to the reactor was a breeze because I had already been through here once. Got to the previously locked door, you could see all the glue from when I tried to clip through it earlier. The reset process is very easy. At the end of it, 2 more technopaths spawn, but because I have repair 3, I'm able to fix this elevator and get out of there super quick. Got to the airlock, and I could finally head up to Alex's office.
Hey, you wanna know what else is almost done? It's me. I'm almost done. Yeah, I'm almost done having relations with your mother.
Once there, Alex agrees to work with me after I watch another video of myself. In the video, my past self explains that there is another way to stop the Typhon, one that doesn't involve blowing up the station. I can make a bomb that only kills Typhon. Alex tells me I can have his arm key after doing the first step for making this bomb, which is scanning some coral on the outside of the station. Also, if you notice, I'm putting a bunch of EMP downs while this video is playing. It was to prepare for an ambush that happens later, but I thought it was gonna happen now. It happens after I come back from scanning the coral, not before. But you guys shouldn't be surprised. You should know by now. I'm fucking dumb. Once again, I think it's kind of stupid Morgan just believes the video of herself. The whole game is against shape-shifting monsters and advanced technology. It's not crazy to think that the videos are doctored. Especially because at this point, Alex has been trying to stop you the whole time, and now all of a sudden he's on your side? Like, what the fuck? Wouldn't it just make more sense for Alex to always be on your side? Or, like, for you to not trust Alex because now his mind has changed? I don't know. The coral I need to scan is in the exterior, just need to constantly move around so I don't get killed by the enemies in the area. Finished scanning and I got back to Alex's office. Before the data was fully uploaded, the transfer is interrupted. Turns out, Mommy and Daddy Yu don't like what's happening on their spaceship, so they hired a hitman to wipe us out and recover all the data on the Typhon. The hitman, Commander Dahl, also has an army of evil military toasters, and this is why I need to get Hacking 4. These toasters, can be stunned and then hacked with Hacking 4. Once friendly, they will no longer attack you and attack nearby enemies. So as long as the toasters I hack don't kill other toasters, people, or aliens, it won't count as a fail. It will now just be a friendly, neutral AI that roams. My next goal is to get rid of the hitman. I can't continue in the game until he's dealt with. First, I gotta get to the shuttle bay, hack into the computer on his spaceship to find the location of his main toaster. This one is plugged in somewhere at the station and is locking out all personnel from their station controls. The shuttle bay was a fairly easy section. Lots of EMP grenades, glue ammo, and the ability to hack toasters, I was able to slowly clear the area of enemies. The most annoying part of this section was constantly redoing the hacking minigame every time I stunned a toaster. It took like an extra 30 seconds for each one. And on a side note, I actually hate it when games do stuff like this. See, they want to add a gameplay mechanic to the ability so it seems rewarding or more immersive. But it's almost always something incredibly mundane and unrealistic. It would have been better if they just had some weird animation here. It's not like this adds immersion. I obviously know this isn't real hacking, and it's so easy to do that it becomes boring. BioShock did this too. They also had a hacking minigame. Same problem, it was very repetitive. The difference here though is the BioShock minigame was at least challenging. This isn't in the slightest. It's just literally me moving my joystick. No thought process required. Not like I could do much thought processing anyways. Hacked into the computer, I learned that the toaster I had to deal with was up in Hardware Labs. Opened up the airlock in the shuttle bay. Opened up the airlock in the shuttle bay. Opened up the airlock in the shuttle bay. And got up to the Hardware Labs using the exterior.
Hey, it's your boy, Skinny Penis.
On my way to Hardware Labs, Dahl gives me an ultimatum. Let my friends die or fight. Because this is a no-kill run, and I know I can defeat him without killing him, I decide that it's necessary for me to do this in the challenge. Otherwise, me choosing not to fight him would indirectly kill my friends, thus failing the challenge. So, I made a detour to life support. Once inside, I made my way to the Air Control Center, where Dahl was located. This is where I used Combat Focus for the first time. Combat Focus 3 is an ability that allows me to slow time and lets you move at full speed for 10 seconds. This lets me run past enemy heavy areas without giving them a chance to attack me. Once in the control room, I shut off the oxygen to the area and knock out Dahl. Yeah, it's a bit weird. I mean, I don't know why shutting off the oxygen in the area wouldn't just kill him. Instead, the game counts this as just knocking him out. It's a bit weird, but whatever, it works. You can go over and check his body and it'll stay unconscious. There's even a side mission you could do with him after. I'm not doing this for the run though, it's not necessary. With that taken care of, I went back to Hardware Labs to get rid of the evil toaster. Once inside, I EMP'd the robot so I can hack both. Once the main one was hacked, I could finally continue with the main quest. Back in the Arboretum, I beat the shit out of this corpse for looking at me funny. Fuck you. And I finally got to Alex. Alex gives a whole speech about what's going on with the Typhon, and blah, 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 no one fucking cares. He gives me the fabrication plan for the Norway device, but before he can give me his arming key, a giant Typhon appears from the black and breaks the glass, removing all the oxygen from the area, again, just making humans unconscious and not killing them for some reason. I drag Alex's fat ass into his safe room and make my way to Psychotronics. This is because I am now doing the Norway device storyline. I won't be blowing up the station anymore. I'm going to be doing what Alex wants to do, which is killing all the Typhon. In order to complete the game, you have to choose one of two. Either kill everything on board or kill only the aliens. I'm gonna obviously do the one that has the least amount of deaths. I'm not going to count that as a fail anyways, but just to be in the spirit of the run, I'm going to do the one that is most in line with what the challenge is. Now, if you remember earlier in the game when I was clipping my way through Psychotronics, there was that domed area that had zero gravity. That's where I have to install the Norway device. To get there, I have to take the guts. It's a bit harder this time with all the hentai tentacles trying to kill me. After a bit of pro gaming in the guts,
It's what I do to your mom.
I got inside to the dome. That's when I realized I forgot to build the fucking bomb. I was never given the bomb. I was given the fabrication plan to the bomb, meaning I had to make it at a crafting station. Although there is one in Psychotronics, I can't get to it because it's on the other side of the fucking locked doors I clipped through earlier. So I had to go back to the guts, find a fabricator in there, make a bomb, and then come back to the dome. 10 minutes later, that's all done, and I have to go back up to the Arboretum to meet Alex in the Talos 1 bridge. When you arrive, Alex is arguing with January about what to do. January insists the only safe way to get rid of the Typhon is by blowing up the station, and Alex thinks the best way is to repel them with the Norway device. Like I said earlier, because it's a no-kill run, I'm going to be choosing the route that kills the least amount of people. Therefore, I'm siding with Alex, and I'm going to choose the Norway device. January tells me that she won't let me do it unless I kill her. I tried stunning her, but that didn't work, and I couldn't hack her either. So regretfully, I had to destroy January, bringing my kill total up to 2. I detonated the bomb, and I finished the game. Or did I? Ooh, secret ending after the credits. Whoa. Yeah, this game got
Death, baby.
So basically, at the end of the game, it's revealed that this was all a simulation, and you're actually a sedated phantom, reliving the memories of Morgan Yu and Talos 1. Turns out aliens got to Earth and it's the end of the world. So in a last-ditch effort to save us, Alex and his 4 toaster friends, of course his fat ass has 4 toasters, created the simulation hoping it would give you human qualities and that you would change your mind and join humans in the fight against the Typhon. So you're given a choice. Kill them all, or help them defeat the Typhon. Obviously, I chose to help them, and now I actually beat Prey without killing anyone. Well, I failed. I failed again. Was it like 2 videos in a row? That's about the same amount of times I failed entering your mother. Anyways, it was still fun to play. Prey is super underrated in my opinion. The plot and storytelling devices in the game are really well done. The gameplay itself is very mid, similar to games like Dishonored. Nothing horrible about the gameplay, but nothing super mind-blowing. Although guns like the glue cannon are really fun to use and honestly pretty original concept. If you haven't played the game, I highly recommend. There's a bunch of stuff I skipped over in the gameplay that makes it way better. Like, you can find a hidden transcribe that hides the whole game being a simulation. Or you can actually read about the world's alternate history in which JFK wasn't killed, explaining why the space technology is advanced as it is. My stats at the end of the run were 2 enemies killed, 8 hours and 52 minutes of gameplay, and I don't know, like 50 deaths. I died a lot in this run, especially when I was trying to go out of bounds. Before I cut, I just want to let you guys know that I'm now going to be streaming on Twitch. My username is going to be the same as my YouTube, Crispy645. I'll be doing a bunch of playthrough of games I love, but I'll also be recording the gameplay for my next YouTube video live. So if you want to come say hi, just give me a follow. Next time I'm live, you'll get a notification, you come by and watch. I don't really have a schedule right now. If stuff starts to go well, maybe I'll make one. As it is right now, it's going to be very free form, but if you want to come out, come out. It's all good. I'm not going to Google 3, but whatever. Also, like, it's good art. Like, I'm not into this, but like, maybe I am. Thanks for watching. Remember to like if you liked it or hated it. You can't see dislikes anymore, so if you disliked it, just like it and I'll count that as a dislike for you. Subscribe for more brain dead moments and pro gaming strats, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.